Have a seat. So, you're interested in sea turtles? Is that the only animal you're interested in?
No, it's actually not even the one I'm most interested in. I am most interested in the whale sharks, but it's just the one that's easiest to work with.
Yeah, you're right. We don't have a whale shark rehab center now.
But
I don't know if anybody has them in captivity, actually.
I have been very interested in these turtles for the longest time.
Okay. Yeah, they are accessible. They're kind of one of the charismatic megafauna of the marine environment. So you're a marine science major, right?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, it says here biology and marine science. Are you a double major?
I am.
Why did you double major?
Because I haven't said exactly what I want to do after college yet, but I'm fairly certain I do want to go to veterinary school to become a marine vet. And I feel like having both biology and marine science experience would benefit me the most.
Okay. Yeah, so you're getting some additional coursework in sort of the cell and molecular and those kinds of things that aren't required in marine science.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I guess you may have already answered this. What do you expect to be doing in 5 years?
I would like to be in veterinary school, working to become a vet, marine vet, and then after that, hopefully go into an aquarium and work on taking care of the animals in aquariums.
Okay. You can be an aquarist without being a vet. Does that appeal to you at all, or do you really, really want to be a vet?
I would like to work with the animals most to be a vet.
Okay. All right. You know that Dr. Borkowski at Jacksonville University is a marine mammal vet.
Yes.
And that I know that there was another student years ago named Natalie, what was her maiden name? Duddick. She's now Natalie Hashi, who then went to the University of Florida Vet School and was a marine vet. So, not a vet of the Marine Corps, but marine animal vet. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so that's cool. Tell me a little bit about your past experience and how it connects. I've got your resume and I've got your cover letter, but I want to hear it from you.
Well, I know a lot of what I would do interning at the center is talking to the people that come through for tours about the turtles that we have there and what happened to them, why they're there, and what their treatment is, and like when they're supposed to be released. And although I haven't had job experience specifically with marine animals or interning with turtles or anything like that, I do have jobs that like help with my communication skills and working with customers. So because of the experience that I do have, I do feel confident that I would be able to communicate to the people that are going through with the tours.
Okay, all right. What is it about sea turtles that interests you?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I have loved them for as long as I can remember. Particularly the sea turtles at the Killer Beasley Center. I visited there 4 or 5 years ago and just fell in love and forced my parents to take me back about 2 years later.
Okay. So, which turtles did you get to see when you did visit? Do you know what the species were?
They had green turtles and Kemsworthy turtles mainly. They might have had 1 or 2 others that were in them, but they do try to release them. So with the exception of 1, I'm pretty sure all the turtles I saw have been released.
Sure. They probably get loggerheads too, but they may not have had any at that time. Yeah. Okay. Have you ever had a physically demanding job, a job where you had to do manual labor of some sort?
I think the closest that we get to is when I worked at the frozen yogurt shop. We'd have to make the frozen yogurt, and that would involve about 7 pounds of frozen yogurt getting up on a ladder and pouring it into the machines.
Yeah, so probably not the same as having
No.
to move a fully grown sea turtle. Obviously, you wouldn't do it by yourself,
Yeah.
but there are those kinds of things as well as moving feed around, water, a variety of things. Do you think you're capable of handling that physical level of activity?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, all right. What's the hardest thing for you academically?
To stay organized and on top of everything. So I have gotten better about it this past semester. In the past, it has been a bigger problem than it is now. But sometimes I get so focused on getting one thing done that I kind of forget about some of the other things, and they get pushed off until I'm rushing to get them done, but everything does get done.
So how have you tackled that? You said it's better now than it was. What did you do to change your pattern?
I have more of a schedule of things that need to be done and when they need to get done. So even though I get really focused on wanting to fix one thing, I do have a list of what else needs to get done that day. So sometimes the thing I'm mainly focused on might have to get pushed back to the next day if it doesn't have to be done that day.
Okay, so a list, a calendar,
Yeah.
those sorts of reminders. Do you use the computer to help you remind?
Sometimes, but I find it's easier for me to have it written down in front of me.
Okay, yeah, well, then if the electricity's off, you can still work on those.
Yep.
Your resume shows that you have a lot of activity in social groups. Sorority? Alpha
Yes.
Epsilon Pi? Okay.
Yes.
Phi? Phi? Yes?
Fine, yes.
Okay. And you've been the Presidential Advisory Council, Panhellenic Council, right? So I'm getting all these right. Okay. So clearly you're a fairly social person. Would you consider yourself an extrovert?
Yeah, I
You
like to be around people.
So working in groups is not a problem, which is good, because we will likely need you to work in groups, whether they're groups that are doing tours or interacting with the group or in the process of dealing with the animals. It's a team approach. No one person can handle all of that. And you know, there are changes in responsibilities from day to day. Have you ever been in a situation with a team where you felt ill-suited to the role you were assigned, or as though somebody else was not pulling their weight, and how did you deal with that example?
In a situation where I felt like I wasn't in a role that best suited my abilities, I did talk to the other members of my team and ask them if they had any suggestions for me, anything they could do. Certain situations asked if they could help me complete a task or whatever, but I did talk to the other people in the group and see if they had suggestions as to what I could do better or things I could change.
Okay.
In a situation where I felt somebody else in the group maybe wasn't in their best situation, talk to them, offer them help, not force anything on them, just let them know that if they do need help, like I can help them. But
How was that received? I'm just curious.
depending on the person, some people were very gracious for the help and understood that they were not in the role that they should have been in, and they accepted my help 100%, and I was there to do as little or as much as they needed me to. Some of the more stubborn people that I've had to work with saw me offering is, telling them that they wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But I tried to make it as nice as possible.
Okay. Group work is a lot of, you have to get the final job done, but you've also got to work with the
Yes.
people. If you're in that situation and during the internship, and something is not getting done, how will you approach it?
If it's something that I should be doing, is to get it done.
Okay.
If it's something that someone else should be doing, is to talk to them and see if they need help getting it done, offer to do it for them, ask if there's something else I could do for them so they can get that done. But I would not just stare at it not being done. I would try to do everything I could to get it done as soon as possible.
How do you deal with working alone?
I'm okay with working alone. I do like working in groups because that way I can bounce feedback off of other people. But if I do have to work alone, I can definitely do it and get it done and do it as best as I possibly can.
Okay. Sometimes data collection is kind of lonely.
Yeah.
You might be set up to do the 4-hour shift from 8 to midnight of observations
Yeah.
of XYZ because, I don't know, maybe we get some cold stem turtles that happens, and we have to have somebody sitting there, and then you mark little check marks on the
Turn
on the
something.
board, right? Oh, it's eating. Nope. Every 15 minutes. No, not moving. Oh, moving. Yeah. It gets a little bit tedious.
Yes.
Have you had to deal with data a lot?
In some of my classes that I've taken at JU, we've done that, so we do have to collect data. The most long-term data collecting project I've ever had is for my intro marine science class. We had to observe dolphins in the river once a week for an entire semester, and really exciting because I saw the dolphins all semester.
Okay, what did you do with the data at the end of the year? Your great wealth of no dolphin sighting data.
We gave it back to our teacher who then took it to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission, and they monitored the dolphin numbers because there was a dolphin kill a few years ago.
Okay. So you participated in the collection of
Yes.
data, but you didn't have to actually do anything with the data.
Not so much.
What other classes have you taken? So that was the introduction to marine science. What else have you taken?
Botany, zoology, a couple of my general environment subjects take. The major requirement classes I'm taking right now are physical oceanography and biological statistics and oral press.
Okay, so you're taking a statistics class, so that's
Yes.
data analysis. Do they have you working with real data sets, or are they?
The data sets were given to us, and as far as I know, that they are real data sets,
Okay.
not just made up numbers.
Okay. Now, that's good, because the real numbers are far messier than the made up
Yeah.
ones in the back of the book. All right. So, this is an odd question. I'm just going to tell you right now. I want to know 3 positive character traits that you do not possess.
One of them would probably be able to keep a level head in all situations. I am fairly good about it, but every once in a while there's just one situation that just, I tend to just implode a little bit.
Okay.
I said it would be time management. I am getting better at it. I have been working on it. It has been better recently than it was in the past, but there's still an issue there. I still know that I need to work on it.
Okay.
I guess the last character trait that I don't feel like I possess would be empathy.
Okay.
Sometimes it's just hard for me to relate to people on like a more personal level. On a professional level I can, but when they come to me crying about like, roommate problems or stuff like that, sometimes I'm not the best person to go to.
Okay, so is it always the personal, is it because you've not experienced that, or because it's trivial? I mean, help me understand.
I've had experience where I do have to be there for people, and I've had people there for me, so I would say it's lack of experience. Sometimes to me there's just bigger problems going on for me to worry about other people's, what I consider to be trivial problems.
Okay, so it's not a priority for you.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Yeah, we talked about the time management. Tell me a little bit about the level-headedness. What kinds of things get you worked up in a way that you don't feel you're as in control?
Just situations where things just constantly seem to be piling up. Before you can tackle one thing, there's 3 more things that you have to do. And depending on what those things are, sometimes I just need to explode a little bit, and then I can get everything done.
So when you explode a little bit, do you explode at people? Do you just go in your room and kick the wall? What do you do?
No, I usually sit on my bed and play my music as loud as possible and lock my door for about 20 minutes and nobody can get in.
So just give yourself a little cool down.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Is there anything you want to ask me or tell me?
Not this moment, no.
You sure?
Yeah.
No questions?
No.
Okay, well, thank you very much. We are
Thank
going to
you.
interview a number of other people, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.